Stuart, this is Brad.
This, Brad,
Can you tell me or tell us how you can treat a physical ailment spiritually?
how you can treat a physical ailment spiritually.
From a spiritual perspective or from the perspective of this work?
Look, first of all, it depends on the ailment. It depends on what's wrong with the person. Secondly, the first step in the healing of somebody is reducing the tension inside them. That is, it's reducing the tension that surrounds the ailment that in many cases is creating the problem in the first place. And this is a very difficult thing to do because it's a hands-on work. You have to be able to absorb that tension, that's in another human being. You have to be able to channel that tension into their chakra system, into the area below the navel where it becomes chi. And then you keep doing that so that all of that tension gets burned up. I mean, that's really literally the first steps in healing somebody. And then it's, the Shakti, the energy, the spirit that will transform the problem into, something that's positive inside them, that really gets rid of the problem. Now, this doesn't work with everybody, but I've done it with so many people in my life that I've seen it work. And it's all hands-on. It takes a tremendous inner development because it's like when I first did this, I walked into Rudy's gallery and there was a woman in the back of the gallery, who had a very serious cancer. And Rudy was doing healing work with her. And he asked me to go back and work with her. And, I'll never forget it. I put my hand on her forehead, and I tried to absorb in myself the tension that was coming out of that tumor. It was so powerful that I literally collapsed at her feet. I literally could have poisoned my entire system with the tension that was coming out of that woman. Rudy came back, he started, smacking me, yelling at me, schmuck, what did you try to do? And he was right. I tried to absorb the tension from that tumor, and it was a very dark energy. And my system wasn't strong enough to be able to do it. He made me run around the block 3 times, and when I finally came back, he said to me, look, you're a schmuck, you're this, you're that, but you'll always in your life be able to do healing. It's like you just got a shot for cholera, working with that woman. That'll immune you to, further occurrences like that. So, you never know how this happens and how this works. But the most important thing is being careful and being conscious and recognizing what one's capacity is. And don't spend your time trying to heal somebody with hands-on work when you don't have the capacity to do it. And that energy, that negative energy in them could really hurt you. It could really create very serious sickness inside another human being. Most people that I've met that are healers, you look at them and there's something vacuous inside them. They have taken in so much negative energy from other people, and they don't have the capacity to get rid of it, to transform it, to drop it, to do whatever they have to do to get rid of that poison. So this is a difficult subject. I mean, I wrote a book called Leah, you can read that book. And it's really all in there about the unfolding of what it means to heal a person using this meditation process. And it's a step-by-step thing. And it needs to be, approached consciously. And when a person is ready to do healing, it just is an organic process. They just organically do it. They have the capacity to do it. Up until that point, people have to be very, very careful. I mean, look, going into this new year, I'm going to be working with a number of people that have serious illnesses, and I told them, these people, that, it's one thing to do this with hands-on, in-person sessions. Doing it over the internet it's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. But, we have to just use what's available. And one of the problems with this meditation is everybody's all over the world. It's people aren't here, where I could work with them every day and have meditations with them every day. They're all over the world. And it's convenient for everybody. You can do it in your bedroom, but at the same time, it's not the same depth. It's not the same internal work. It's not the same thing. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not going to tell everybody to move to Stamford, Connecticut, But all of that is part of healing. And ultimately, what healing is truly, are we happy people? Have we arrived at a place in our life where we truly live with our hearts open? I mean, I used to do this at my loft on 4th Avenue, and I told people I'll do healing work. I mean, it was like a bakery, take a number. The people were lined up out the door. I would tell every single person that came to those sessions, the purpose of these sessions is for you to recognize through this problem that you have that God is asking you to have a spiritual life. God is asking you to do something very deeply about yourself. I don't think there was one person, and I'm talking, I don't know how many people used to come that ever did that. Maybe one that I know, Chris, she did that. But that was long before I was doing that 4th Avenue stuff. Because we get these problems as a reminder that we are, we need to grow. We need to do something. We need to get closer to God. We need to open. We need to become happy people. We need to find joy in our lives. That's healing. That's real healing. Not getting another 10 years to live in a miserable life that one is living, That's not healing. But most people want that. They want another 2 years to be alive. But when I told them, you've gotten this problem as, it's telling you that you need to do something in yourself to get closer to God. That, and you learn that and you do that, you will heal yourself of the problem. And I'm talking, I don't know how many people, there must have been 30 people that used to come. They would do it on a couple of days a week. And I don't think one of them got that. One of them. They were just afraid of dying. But they weren't really afraid of dying. They were afraid of living. That's really the problem. People are afraid of living. And it manifests as a fear of dying, So all of this works together. And, it's the person who has the illness and truly what they want, and if they can recognize that that illness is just a way of them growing and getting closer to God, and they can transform the negativity of the illness into something positive and beautiful that gives them a spiritual life. Or they want another couple of years of living, how people live, And I'm not against that. I mean, look, I'm not adverse to that. I mean, I'm not here to determine how long somebody should live. But I'm also here to recognize a simple reality I had to realize a long time ago, a very difficult reality. God created birth, God created death. And my job is not to interfere with either one of those things, unless the person who is sick truly wants a spiritual life. They truly want to learn how to get to God because of their illness. They got me 1,000%. 1,000%. Otherwise, it's all fear, and it's all a lack of growth in somebody, or a lack of need to truly have a spiritual life. So all of these things work together. It took me a long time to learn this. It really did. And yes, I have empathy for the sufferings of people, a great deal of it, or I wouldn't do what I do. But at the same time, I recognize that everybody is in the condition they literally want to be in, and you can only help people if they truly, profoundly want to help themselves. If they truly, profoundly want to use what goes on in their life as a reason to get closer to God.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Without that commitment inside, it's just, it's fear. Fear of the unknown. If you have a spiritual life, you're not afraid of the unknown. You're not afraid of the known, and you're not afraid of the unknown. Understand? The fear vanishes. There is no life. There is no death. There's just spirit, evolving, learning, growing, getting closer to God. And we don't wind up having to possess the world to have some, white picket fence of security around ourselves that we think is going to prevent the inevitable. Why is it inevitable? Simply to teach us that we have a certain amount of time. We come into this world to grow and build a system that truly allows us to have a spiritual life, to finally get free of karma and free of the cycle of suffering, pain, and difficulty that people have to live through every time they're reincarnated on this planet, and you live through it until you finally work through it. You get to the place where you truly have love in your heart, joy inside yourself. You're a happy person. Attain the highest state of what it means to be human. That's healing. All of our work is about healing. It really is. It's about healing. We bring to it all our bullshit, and we need to transform our bullshit into compost, and something that produces an organic garden inside us. And I'm just paraphrasing Rudy, because he used that metaphor all the time. I hope that's clear, because it's so important in the doing of inner work, in living every day. And also in dealing with ill people, because that has to be in them, that they want to truly be healed. I mean, yes, you have operations and this and that, but it's not the same. I mean, look at that book I wrote, Leo, the end of that book where this girl went through hell, literally hell, and came out of it on the other side. Even the doctors were dancing and rejoicing, and, I mean, it was extraordinary what happened. And they went right back into the life they were living that created the problem in the first place. I pleaded with them, come live somewhere else. I'll pay for your rent. I'll pay for everything. I pleaded with them. No. We don't want that. We want to go back. A year later, she died. this horrible thing. I mean, it was just, it broke my heart in this situation, you know. But then I had to accept it. I had to really accept this is what they wanted. And who am I to judge? I did my service to God and to these people. And who am I to judge with what they wanted in their lives, you know? Does anyone else have a question? It's a very good question. You already brought up a lot of stuff. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, we won't have a class on Christmas. You know, it's a family time, and I don't want to interfere with any of that. And just enjoy yourself, have a great feast, have a wonderful holiday. You know, find a lot of family love and a lot of love of the vertical plane here. And you know, we will have a class on Monday. I won't have a class on New Year's Day. I mean, and God bless you all. And I said it today in the class in Europe. You know, I am, each and every one of you is really a teacher for me. I need a teacher. You know, yeah, I have Rudy, I have Nityananda. God knows how many energies in the cosmos work to keep me alive and doing what I'm doing. But I need people to be present in these classes, to do their inner work, to have a deep need, to have a spiritual life. It makes me grow. It really forces me to plummet the depths of myself. So thank you, and God bless you all. And I realized that when I was in Europe, I really did. You know, I said, Stuart, the people that attend those classes, you know, they're really very important in your evolution and growth. So thank you, and bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Monday. God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Merry Christmas.
Good night.